the stream. Excited to be live again. Same as always now, but I'm not at my place. We're aware of the tensions in the Middle East. That's where I live. I'm actually in Saudi Arabia now, and I will fly out fairly shortly. Actually Saturday, and yeah, we'll find a better place to stream. I want to apologize. The content, I mean I guess the form is not the best, but we'll commit anyhow. We said it. We stream every day. We do it every day, and so today we'll discuss a bit about the product. We're doing some. We're trying to nail the UI at the moment, and then we'll discuss about market. And we'll discuss about market first. So first and foremost, so let me just look at my Telegram, but that's what we did yesterday, is we've closed a near short, and then we opened a Navi short. That's more for fundamental reason to close near, to be honest, we should have kept it. We were at the range highs, and I wanted to de-risk a bit. And then Aave, I just like Aave because also notional here was wrong. I've commented. That's just a typo, but yesterday, just for context, we were at range highs on stream, so literally at like 72, 73, 70, 74, and we've always assumed here since we started the challenge, like, when did we start? We started on the 20th. We assumed that from the 20th, we were in the range. And that was the rationale behind taking a long, basically taking all these trades. So the BTC long that we took on the 24th, and then the take profit on the 26th, we've always assumed that it was a range. And so you have to, if our view is that this is a range, then you want to cut the exposure if we break out of this range and flip long, or whichever way we break out. So, yesterday was very important because if today's price action was the same as yesterday, we would have exited all of the short exposure. Actually not flip long, because I still don't, there are reasons why I don't want to long. And sometimes you just have to be taking confidence and looking at what your gut is telling you. And I guess that's something that you leave up all the time in the market. But you for sure don't want to be exposed short. At the end of the day, you can have all the reasons in the world. At the end of the day, the market is the truth, and you're never right. Market is always right. So how we look to approach the market now is you have a couple of moving averages. So the 200-day EMA. Here, that's acting as support. So I think a key level for the bulls here is the 71 level. Now, if we are to break down this level, that would logically give us, if we tap the opposite, a move at the range lows. I think a lot of people are eyeing this move, and as it stands, we are keeping the short exposure. So we know, we are in a drawdown on the BTC short that we took from entry is not good. But realistically, if we fail to flip this as support, we have to assume that it was just a deviation from the range and that we played now to the downside. I actually haven't looked so much at the market. Been busy building. And I think a lot of you are just wondering about my style and like why I'm taking such big invalidations, it just also comes back to what I do is I don't view myself as a trader necessarily. Um, I have some views on markets, and I'm not I'm not day trading. I can't afford to day trade, and I'm also not interested in day trading. I think there is too many variables that I don't control. And so just looking at the market now, you basically have an unwinding OI and then CVD is just not supporting. And I have to assume that the indexes are red. I have to assume indexes are red, and yeah, the thing is, like a lot of people look at the structure that we have now and think that I just don't. These are things I can't really explain, but I just don't see myself being long now because I'm also very biased. I am in the GCC countries, but when I see the level of escalation, I just don't think the spot buyers that we saw. The move we had was started in a like the we saw a big move specifically on hype like over the weekend. I just don't see spot holders having so much conviction, and plus like the timing is very timing specific. I think if this were happened like 2 days ago, I would have reconsidered, but now it makes for an interesting setup because Friday is tomorrow, and then on weekends is usually where the big stuff tends to happen if you have any sort of escalation, or on Fridays. And I never long on Friday or weekends or early Monday. I just a rule I've set. And when I see the weakness of some cryptos, like Hype rolling over, for example, Hype had a big move on the weekends and early this week, and now if we look at the BTC over Hype, BTC USD over Hype USD, USDT, you can see just a reversal. Actually, is it the correct chart? I'm not sure, but yeah, basically what I want to say is weakness on Hype over BTC, and that is usually not a great sign for the market. And because I'm never cutting, I'm never going long on Fridays and weekends, I'm just comfortable holding shorts. I don't, unless you have big ATMs from MicroStrategy, I don't think you'll press so hard. Plus, the lack of follow through makes me think it's okay to hold the shorts. Now you have to invalidate at some point, and so if we are to just hold the range now, just stay there. I think 75 would be a great invalidation. But as it stands, I just don't have any incentives to cover the short. And that's just a timing wise in the week. Plus, it's hard for me to see indexes roll over and not think, crypto just might take a hit. Crypto, as much as you want to say crypto is not correlated or like it's showing relative strength, when you're the most liquid asset on the weekends, you're taking a hit anyway, because you're the only, like if you want to add margin to your account, because you think you'll have a large drop on Monday, you'll take the most liquid stuff, and that's what we saw on the yen carry trade, for example, when you had a big drop in a weekend. So really no incentives to flip buyers here. Kind of got lucky there that we did not have any fall through. Reflecting on this trade, even if we cut this trade at like 60, 58 or whatever, I take this trade as a big L because I think I was too zoomed in and it was just not like why would I keep something mid range and not like cut over 69, 68, which was the original plan. So I take this as a loss anyway and a big learning, whichever the outcome. Now I think what we did right is take good shorts. So we are leveraging this tool, which we built internally, and so this tool is a bit of a mess. Like I've shipped this pretty quickly, but the best way to look at this tool is to me the shorts, and you just have to toggle the add to short. Add to long is less of a signal. Add to short is a good signal. What this does is it's looking at so what this app does overall is it's isolating capital flows. So how much of how much capital is flowing to an asset versus another. And adding to short, you do it when you have an asset that historically showed good strength and now is starting to roll over. And typically it's what happened with Near, where Near showed great strength throughout this period and then started to range and then lose steam. And then when we took this short here, you had clear invalidation. And now, it's likely you just start to roll over. And this tool is partially helpful there. That's why that's why I kept the hype short, and I've took originally the near short. Avi short was a bit of more of a fundamental thing that I don't think you'll have supportive spot flows here. So I think to consider longs, I won't, like, you have such a great setup for shorts now. I have to say, if you roll over now, plus, who will want to go long on Friday when you have headline risk on the weekends, plus you have the war in the GCC. So to me, even to cover the shorts, I'll probably just cover on Monday or like next week. And my target now is in the if you understand that we took a deviation to range highs, I'd assume the same for range lows, as simple as that is. Now you have to, I think a lot of people are looking for this level, so you want to be very cautious with your stops. And if you don't have a quick bounce on range lows here, we're probably cooked. And we could easily have, break down the range here and go towards the lower 50s. But as it stands now, if I don't cut the short, my next big trade would be, cutting the short, flipping long at range highs, which realistically because of just the fundamental reasons, I'm not really interested. Or like a setup like this where you target again range lows and look at range highs, potentially hold to further expansion. I do think you have a good long setup at some point. I just don't think now is the time. So a bit of what's going on into my brain. Plus, it's like S&P is rolling over. You have a lot of uncertainties, and I'm asking myself what is the marginal buyer thinking now? And marginal buyer here at range highs probably doesn't have so much conviction except just technical. And I think if you had a very bad reaction at range highs, you're probably just gonna, panic sell. So plus, yeah, again, S&P is just not like, I don't want to be involved here, and I think a lot of people see this and just think that they have time on their side. So I'm really not compelled to do anything, and we will. I guess we'll just close this whenever we feel like market's gonna bounce. As I said, Monday is probably where I'm interested for this. Or we could also have a big reversal and then I have to cut, but I doubt that it's gonna happen this weekend. Product wise, we are doing this front end push. So if you look at the platform from yesterday, it changed quite a bit. We're making sure the UX is smooth and just working, as intended. And we have worked on this side panel, and then we're working on this order in positions. We'll make the chart look better, and then we'll be done for the trading terminal, and then we'll do heavy QA on this with the community. I just wanted to make sure this was done correctly, because that's where people are gonna spend most of their time, and there will be a lot of fine tuning over time, just making sure, things are as smooth as possible for the end user. And we've added a few things. I mean, we've added a few things on the admin panel. I don't want to. I could show you this. We have an admin panel where you are able to. Yeah, actually, it's not on the. Not on the right branch, but we have an admin panel where we'll see the progress we're making on the A to B booking algorithm. So now I'm on the right branch. We have a user profiling, which we will share the algorithm at some point with the community and you guys watching the stream. But one of the, I guess you'll see what happens on our back end, but we want to make sure we evaluate traders almost in real time, and that is going to allow us to tell whether we A book or B book traders. And so here you can see some of the insights of how we think about this, and you can see the parameters that we look at. So we look at the Sharpe ratio, expectancy, profit factor, regularity of a trader, the variance in size, and that is, basically, we could go into the details here, but we basically want to know programmatically how good of a trader you are, and we rely on these metrics. So, now we basically have just myself testing out the platform, but as we get the community to QA, we will be able to run evaluations on the profiles and tell us, okay, if that's a good trader or not, depending on those patterns. And as I said on Discord, we will tell you if you're classified as A book or B book. Basically, nothing is going to change. The experience that you'll have is going to stay the same. But it is for our own risk management, and we will share some of that to you guys, and that's going to be on the docs. Again, our number one priority is transparency, so we'll make sure we do this right. I'm just trying to check if we have. Well, that's about it. We mainly worked on the UI. We worked on this A/B booking, and then we worked on some other aspects which I don't think are relevant for this stream. So Again, bit of a shorter stream. Setup is not ideal, but yeah, wish that. Well, hopefully that was fun to you guys, and I see you guys tomorrow for another market update and some other product updates. Peace.